Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
How was it?
Well, I mean, I think first of all, there's the need for clarity on the exercise which has been conducted in Parliament. From some of the comments, you get the impression that government has presented a budget and is being discussed. That is not the case. What happened last week is not the presentation of a budget, but is the review of the budget which had already been presented for the year 2026.
Which was in November last year.
Exactly. Now, we have to understand why now we have mid-year reviews of budget. In the past, it wasn't like this. I mean, there was a time when the Minister for Finance would actually address a press conference and give indications of how the year ahead is going to look like. And it even went to the extent of determining the price of charcoal, the price of milk, and so on. We've passed those years.
The price of petrol.
This was Kwesi
time. Yes.
Oh, so, we passed that stage.
Longest serving finance minister, eh?
Okay. Now, we've come to the point where we've come to realize that the assumptions underpinning the budget may not last for 1 year. Okay? You can have a budget. Donald Trump may then decide to go and attack Iran and mess everything up for you and so on. So it will impact on revenue generation, it will impact on expenditure and so on. So the purpose of this mid-year review is simply for the Minister of Finance to come and say, look, these were the underlying assumptions. These assumptions have changed as a result of these circumstances. And therefore, we may need more money to realize the objectives of the budget. Or that things have so fundamentally changed that the revenue that we were expecting has doubled. So we have excess revenue. Parliament, what do you think we should do with the excess revenue that we have generated? And so on. You understand? So this is one of the reasons why we have mid-year reviews now. Now, the other reason simply is that now also, the budgets are not read in even December, they are not read in January. They are read mostly in November. Which means that by the time they are reading the budget, they will not have all the figures for the preceding year. Okay? All the facts will not be available. So again, some assumptions will have to be made and so on. It is believed that by the mid-year, June, July, all the figures for the previous year would have been available. And it will be then possible to have a realistic view of the past and the year in which we are. That's why we have mid-year reviews of the budget. Tomorrow, whoa, wow, I've been watching what is happening in Parliament. Why do I say I'm shocked? Why doesn't explain it? Mid-year review of the budget. Have you seen what is happening there?
Well, that's just politics.
Eh?
That's just politics.
No, what is happening there? Maybe if he explains.
Please. Don't say that again. That's just politics.
That's what our politicians do to us all the time.
What? I can't believe it.
Uncle, what has
They're
happened?
doing a mid-year review of the budget. Prominent parliamentarians get up, they speak through the microphone. They want us to hear. And it's about who is going to go to Isan prison next.
Oh. That's okay.
What?
Which one?
Some of the things that are said.
Who's going to go to prison in this debate? In this debate?
Yes.
The minority
Now,
leaders.
all of you on the majority side, get ready. We are going to go to prison.
Oh no, but that is not a comment on the. That is the. It's not. I thought you were talking about the debate. The debate started yesterday.
Yeah, the debate started. No, he's talking about the commentary
The
that followed
comments.
Oh,
the
okay.
day
I thought you were.
the media was.
Okay.
Presentation was.
Master,
Yes.
I'm sitting in my office and watching television, and I fall sick immediately.
Hey.
The level of leadership, the things which were being said, reduction of the whole mid-year review of the budget to filing appeal for Wontumi and so on, and other tangential issues. Please, those of you we have elected to go into Parliament and to advocate for us, to safeguard our interests and so on, please mature, grow up, and don't take us for granted.
Oh, Uncle Z, well, when you finish, I
can stop for you to continue. I don't have a problem.
Today, your words are a little bit harsh for me.
So when we say
you should grow up,
when we say that you should go and do,
no, but I'm sure you are referring to the minority leader in this case.
I deliberately didn't want to pinpoint any particular.
But
you think it's him?
It's not about I think it's him.
It is him.
It's about when you talked about, because when you started, I thought you were talking about the debate that started yesterday.
That's what I also thought.
Because yesterday there was nothing related to Wontumi. The only time somebody spoke about Wontumi was Mr. Afenyo Markin's initial remarks after the presentation, and your description as I think is a little bit harsh. And if you look at the practice in Parliament,
Massa, I am not the person to sit in judgment over how you see things. So if you think that my comments are a little bit harsh, that's your view. But if we elect you, hold on. If we go and stand in the sun, some stand in the sun for hours to vote for you. Some people died in the process of voting. They were shot and so on. And then you go and sit in Parliament. And there's a mid-year review. And all you care about is some of the statements that I heard from Parliament. That's a problem.
you may have your disagreement with some of the comments, but
don't you think that there's a problem?
Collins,
in all honesty,
in Parliament,
yes.
The practice in Parliament is that the leader is not enjoined to just speak to what was read. No, he's the leader.
If you were the leader, that's how you would have spoken.
No, Kwesi. No.
If you were the leader, you would have spoken like that.
Even the budget itself, they make allocation to the justice system. The budget makes allocation to the justice system. It is our money that runs the courts. So if a leader thinks that there's a problem with a certain judgment, why can't he make it on the floor? He has absolutely every right to make it.
And his solution,
you may have issues with the timing. But I don't think the leader...
And his solution to the problem with the funding of the justice system is that, look, if you jail us when we come, we'll jail you more than you jail us.
We welcome the reforms.
Massa,
just a second.
Massa, please.
We welcome the reforms by the finance minister. No, first of all, let me start from here. I commend the finance minister for acknowledging some of the digitalization reforms introduced by the previous PP administration. That's the minority leader. We welcome the reforms by the finance minister, and for the first time, he has done something patriotic by acknowledging the digitalization reforms we introduced in government payments today. He has acknowledged
them. That's the purpose of this.
We commend you. We commend you for acknowledging the NPP. We commend you, but you can do better. Tell your government to free all political prisoners. Wontumi deserve justice. I commend you for the budget, but on Wontumi, trouble. If you don't release Wontumi, we'll come and put you in jail.
So what was the purpose of reading this?
Oh no, I just wanted
to put it in context.
Our viewers know exactly what he said.
Yes.
For which you have an issue with, so they can follow the argument.
A small part of what he said.
He said
a very small part of what he said.
Yes.
But even this one,
it's a problem.
it's problematic. You understand? And to be honest with you, one of the best reviews of the mid-year review and so on is the one I've heard from Collins. Very mature, very focused and so on. That's what we expect of our parliamentarians. But sometimes, Collins, please admit it. Why? You know that what I'm saying is true. Why?
No,
Why? You think that they will beat you if you go to Parliament?
Oh no,
Nobody will beat you.
Oh please, no.
So just admit.
No. Who beats me?
Has a problem with the timing of the comments.
But I'm saying that
Some of the comments really on the midyear review of budget.
In Parliament, when leadership rise up on their feet,
This is normal.
I'm telling you, when leadership and most pertinent issues are brought to the fore.
Okay, most pertinent. One of the most pertinent issues, as I heard, is that, if you jail us, when we come, we will jail you more than you have jailed us. So don't jail us so that when we come, we also not jail you. Is that a responsible statement for anybody to make?
Kwesi.
A country in which the citizens say they are demanding accountability. Is that a responsible statement to make? Tell me, if you jail us, when we come, we will jail you more than you jailed us. So don't jail us at all. Collins, I'd like to hear your comment on this. This is a very responsible statement to make. In a parliamentary debate on the midyear review of the budget.
It was not a debate.
Well,
this is where the
initial commentary, whatever.
In response to the
no matter what you have done, don't jail us. So that when we come, you two, no matter what you have done.
Is that what leader said?
What did he say?
No. You are saying it. You are saying that. Leader says. No, but you are saying that. Leader says.
And you have.
The leader says that. You don't jail us, so that we also don't jail you. I don't think he said that. Did he say that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Please.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
Don't bring yourself into the fire. You don't deserve to be there.
But he didn't say that.
Okay, so I plead the fifth. Minkevi. You see what I really feel? Yes.
But you see,
yes, sir.
I was very careful.
Yes.
Not to be mentioning names.
Yes, I know, for very good reasons.
Collins straight away has mentioned the name.
No, man, what you said, you don't even need to mention the name. Our viewers are watching.
It's obvious.
Because yesterday the debate, Wontumi's name did not appear in the whole debate.
I'm not talking about yesterday.
That's the point. The very day, the only person who made a comment from our side was minority leader, which is the practice that when the minister finishes, the minority leader will make a brief comment and then the majority. So your comments are well situated, and everybody watching knows where you are tilting towards. So my mention the name was just to put it in perspective, and also to respectfully disagree with your choice of words. You know, I and of course, as you said, I have the right to also disagree with you.
No, of course.
Yes.
Of course,
and
of course.
I thought your choice of words were a little bit too harsh to our leader. But as I said, the practice in Parliament does not bar.
Don't forget that I'm a voter.
Absolutely.
And don't forget that the 275 of you who sit in Parliament are supposed to protect my interests.
Yes.
I have to be satisfied with the work you're doing.
Absolutely.
As a Ghanaian.
Of course.
You understand?
Of course.
Okay.
So when you go there,
of course,
and you do some of the things that you do there, we feel sick. We feel sick just watching you.
Don't feel sick. We don't want you to feel sick. You may not disagree. You may not agree with some of the things some people say, but don't feel sick, Angus. We need you alive.
All right. This is Uncle Sis' take on the presentation of the mid-year review of the budget, and I'll just read a few messages, and I guess that would.
And I thank him for the kind words too.
Yes. He says you have delivered a review.
No, your review was
was refreshing.
It was refreshing. I mean, one of the few times I've heard somebody from the opposition saying that there were some good things about the budget. These are the good things about the budget. But if government were to focus attention on this and that and that and that, it could have been better.
Right.
So, very mature. Very mature. I mean, and honest. And I really admire the contribution that you made this morning.
Okay.
But not for some of your people.
Okay. So Peter T from Shukura says, good morning to all in the studio. I think it's our time we learn from our past mistakes. It seems we always wait for disasters to happen before we begin rushing to solutions. We were told after the collapse of the first building at Afenyo that immediately the debris were collected. We were told to see the second one also pulled down. But here we are today. Do we want to see another death before taking the action? Or is it because of no curfew that always comes as a result of some of these disasters? We should stop the lackadaisical approach and let's be proactive. My name is Peter T. from Shukura. And this one here, inauguration of the MP National Elections Committee. Okay. All right, so this is actually a statement. This is not a message per se. So, inauguration of the MP National Elections Committee, the acting national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Chairman Mute, has officially inaugurated the National Elections Committee of the party. The committee will be chaired by Honorable Frederick Opariansa, with Honorable Abeno Asare serving as secretary. The mandate of the committee, among other things, is to plan, organize, and superintend over the process leading to the National Conference for the election of national officers of the party, as well as the conduct of the elections. The committee is composed of 1. Honorable Frederick Opariansa, Chairman, Honorable Abena Asare, that's the secretary, Mr. Evans Nemako, member, Madam Oboshisai Kofi. Hey, by the way, I've heard from her in a long time, or heard of her in a long time. Member, Honorable Antonabe Fakabu, who is a member, Honorable Salam Ama Apienim Damata, who is also a member, Eric Nori, Mr. Eric Ntori is also a member, Mr. Frank Davis is also a member, Ashanti Regional Chairman member, to assume office upon the conclusion of the Ashanti Regional elections. The party extends its congratulations to the committee members and express confidence in their ability to discharge their responsibilities with integrity, fairness, transparency, and professionalism in the best interest of the New Patriotic Party. And is issued by the office of the acting national chairman, New Patriotic Party. How's Stephen Tim doing? Stephen Tim? It's been a while, eh? Okay. All right, so this one here says that the MP member of Parliament should educate their communicators who are on social media lying that President John Dramani Mahama has given VALCO to his brother Dr. Ibrahim Mahama. No amount of hatred and propaganda by the MP will bring down Dr. Ibrahim Mahama. Good morning to the good people of Chiriponi. And it says, bring back Zoom Lion. Kwabena Sapon is back. He says, it did not happen. Why are the Americans not at VALCO? You all know that we did not nationalize it. So what will give us the control of VALCO? Note that the takeover happened about 20 years ago. Records may be in the archives. Musa Bata from Asawasi says that I absolutely agree with Mr. Kwesi Pratt. The prudent management of the economy and the Dr. to force in his team is restoring fiscal discipline, reducing wasteful expenditure, and improving Ghana's economic outlook. The successful mid-year budget review, including the recorded surplus without additional funding, deserves commendation. Every right-thinking Ghanaian can see that the economy is being turned around. I thank you, Mr. President, for the reset agenda. Best wishes, Dr. Amoboa, for aspiring National Vice Chairman of the NDC. Okay. Now, okay, Abdul Razak, thank you. I've seen your message. Jude from Australia says, tell Kwesi that we're all tired. Why? They will never listen. Hence, 69 years down the line, we're still using hydropower and not looking forward to cheaper electricity. God help our homeland, Ghana. Okay, I guess that... okay, all right. So I guess that would end it here because our time is actually up. And I want to say a big thank you, Mr. Kwesi Pratt. Today you took me out. Say today I'm not a member. I should leave your matter between the two of you. So I did just that. So thank you for taking me out. Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr. is former
70%. He's going to control the board. He's going to control. I'm not too sure anybody who has a 70% interest will not be interested in chairing the board, having his own chief executive and all that. So, in all intents and purposes, this is clearly giving the company to somebody else to run. And then when there's profit, he gives you maybe your 30%. That's how I see it. I'm a little bit struck by the percentage that Kwesi mentioned, the 70%.
There are two pieces of information as far as this is concerned. There's one that says that that's Giadik is looking to offload 51% to the strategic investor. But the workers are saying no, what they have seen, what they know, which is on paper, is 70%. So is Giadik's work against that of the workers?
I've not seen the document myself.
Because it's after the petition, they've actually...
Okay, I'm sure as time goes on, all these transactions maybe will have to come to Parliament for Parliamentary approval and all that.
Yeah. But be that as it may,
at that point,
there's a conversation about giving majority shares to somebody.
Yes, 70% is quite on the high side. I don't know how much money the investor is bringing in.
Well, we need 600.
What is important in this kind of transactions is transparency. Clearly, for me, the principle of bringing in a private individual now is settled. The government has taken a decision on that, and I know discussions have gone on, and we're on the verge of
sign it off.
Sign it off. I have some information to that effect, and I'm not surprised. That is why the ICU is beginning to sound the alarm. Of course, ideologically, Kwesi, everybody who's listened to him over the years has not been so excited about private participation.
Of course. He's been
over the years. He's been consistent about that.
And that's why I raised the issue of ideology in the beginning. But he thinks that, look, this matter is
been consistent about that. He's been very consistent about that. I'm saying that the decision to offload, for me, from what I know, it's gotten to the climax. Now, in situations like that, what is important is transparency. It's very, very important. It is extremely important that every single detail in this whole transaction is made available to the general public for scrutiny. This is a state asset. At least for all I know, Kwesi is now bringing in a very interesting revelation that documentations confirming that Ghana has the ownership now is in doubt. Yes, from Kaiser. Because I recall some time ago we were told that we've acquired the interest.
Yes.
The state has acquired the interest. So from my thinking, until Kwesi brought this latest information, VALCO now is in the hands of government.
Yeah.
And so it's the state assets. So if the state wants to offload part of its interest in an asset belonging to all of us, it's just fair that you open up and give us the full details. It makes it easier for think tanks, CSOs, Parliament, other interested parties to make inputs into the whole discussion. That makes the discussion more open and more transparent than what we are seeing now. Guidec is saying they are going to give 51%. Workers are saying no, what they are saying is 70%. That kind of contradiction makes it difficult for everybody to be comfortable. And so my appeal is for, if this is the decision of government, and this is the decision of government, government should come clean, open up the discussion. Let's have a very transparent and honest discussion about where we are at this particular point in time. If government does not have the money, liquidity, $600 million now to push into VALCO, and therefore we have to resort to a private individual coming in to assist. Let the terms be made public to everybody to scrutinize and analyze. And I'm sure at that point, there will be some clarity. Yeah. Because he also brought out some options that are available to government. His point is that why go bring an individual to give you 600 million when we have an asset, almost 48 billion. Why don't we ride on this particular asset, go to these banks and have it, raise this amount of money? Some people would even ask, why not float it on shares? Why not go to the stock market? Ghana Stock Exchange. Get this SARS, all these finance companies to put together a paper. We know how viable bauxite is. And from all the documents we've cited, this is a very lucrative industry. Put it on the stock market. Let people show interest. Let Ghanaians own it. And I'm sure we'll be able to raise that amount of money. That's also an option that's available to government. But be that it may, Kwesi, I am asking for transparency in this whole issue. From where I come from, ideologically, I am not essentially against a private participation, if that is going to help to bring more efficiency, quality of service and all that. I don't have any problem. He cited some examples, history, where we handed over state assets to private individuals and it didn't work. Yes, that's a fact. Some didn't work, but I'm not too sure that alone is enough to say we're stopping that process of engaging private sector in other government business. So I'm calling for transparency. Let's guide the VALCO. Let's be open about the transaction. And I'm sure when it is open and everybody begins to give their inputs, at the end of the day, we'll have a final document that will be acceptable to all Ghanaians.
I think that one institution that must also be speaking to this should be SIGA. the state interest and the governance authority, because they also have oversight over some of these institutions.
Yes, they have oversight over all state normal, all those state institutions.
So a few things we want to know. One, is it true? Can they confirm from what they know that the government intends to offload some shares of VALCO, or they're looking for a strategic partner? And what quantity or quantum are we looking at, and how much? Do you understand what I'm saying? What is Siga's own?
Well, unfortunately, this is way beyond Siga.
That's the point I was coming to make.
This is way beyond Siga.
That's the point I was going to make. Decision.
Way beyond.
Decision.
How do you mean?
This is not a decision.
It's not a Siga matter.
At that level. You see, what we need to appreciate is the place of an integrated aluminium industry in the whole industrialization program of Ghana, which is key to our survival as a state.
Yes.
You understand? So this is a big decision. There's a really big decision. And this is why it's important for us to take the right decisions and avoid pettiness, avoid personal interests and so on. Because our future sits on this. You know, well, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I get so worried. Sometimes I ask myself, policymakers, do they understand the institutions that they have been selected to manage and their relevance to the health of the whole country and so on? So I just wonder. You see, because if you're sitting on the VALCO board, you ought to know the place of VALCO, you know, and the integrated aluminium industry.
In the economic, the whole economy,
The whole economy can sit on this. So you don't make decisions lightly. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It seems to me that decisions are made so lightly, you know, I don't know.
Right. So let me. So Kwabena Sapon, Kwabena Sapon used to be a regular on Master Boiling Point on a back in the day. Yes, and at the time I think it was then the host. Yes. Now he sent this message. He says the question of Ghana owning 100% of VALCO is not in doubt. If my memory serves me right, we were paid 17 million bucks by Kaiser for their 90% shares during Kufuor's time. The other shareholder is Alqua. Is it Alqua also? It says they gave us 10% later on. My issue though with that is that
this was in the media, all of us heard this. I'm saying that there's no documentation to support that.
Yes, obviously, I want to, for instance, understand whether the rights people have been asked the question about where the documentation for the how do you call it,
acquisition the takeover
of VALCO, which somebody should be answering that question.
But that document shouldn't be difficult to find.
Yes.
If indeed it did happen.
Yes.
That's the point Kwesi is making.
Yes.
If indeed that happened,
so
these are documents that should be with even the possession of VALCO.
Exactly.
At the Attorney General.
It's not with VALCO, it's not with the sector minister, it's not with the presidency, it's not with every. It's something very strange.
Master, but it's not unusual. It's not unusual. I interviewed the Minister of Interior, Honorable
Muntaka. Obar.
And he told me that on assumption of office, he was looking for contract documents on the renovation of the police hospital. They couldn't find it anywhere.
God, this is serious. Eh?
No, I'm telling you. I mean, I interviewed him. He said he assumed office. There were bills to pay and so on. And he was looking for the documents on the contract. They looked everywhere. They couldn't find it. Eventually, they came by some information and so on, which suggested or who showed that the contract sum had been overpaid by, I think, 48 million pounds or so. Can you believe it? I mean, I interviewed him only 3 weeks ago. 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I see.
So this question of documentation and so on is not...
Uncle, I'm just saying we shouldn't countenance this. We shouldn't countenance this. We must not normalize it. If you have been given a job to do and you're supposed to be doing some documentation, we must make sure that you do that. If you don't do it, you must be punished. Because we can't continue like this. Anyway, so let's use the rest of the 20 minutes to briefly look at the budget. A lot has been said, so I'm not sure that we'd want to spend a lot of time discussing the mid-year budget. Now, there's if you look at this custodian, yesterday the minority held some kind of a mini press conference, which was addressed by the former special assistant to Dr. Mahmoud Bami and also MD for Tano North, I believe, Dr. Gideon Boakon. It says and Collins Edujenfi is the reporter. It says that the deputy ranking member of Parliament's Finance Committee, member of Parliament for Tano North, Dr. Gideon Boakon, has argued that Ghana's improving macroeconomic indicators will mean a little unless they translate into jobs. And warning that economic growth without employment risks deepening public frustration. He states that the ultimate test of any economic recovery is whether it improves the lives of ordinary Ghanaians through employment, higher incomes, and expanded economic opportunities. Now, during a panel discussion on the 2026 mid-year budget review presented by Finance Minister Dr. Kesla Falls and the Tano North MP said the government cannot measure success solely by favorable fiscal and macroeconomic statistics while thousands of young people remain unemployed. A growing economy with unemployed youth is not growth, but a factory of frustration. According to him, while government has highlighted falling inflation, improving fiscal balances and stronger macroeconomic indicators, many young people continue to struggle to secure decent jobs despite completing their education. He maintains that an economy that grows without creating employment risks widening inequality and undermining public confidence in economic reforms. Dr. Boakon said the country's fiscal and economic policy should therefore be judged not only by headline growth figures, but their ability to stimulate private sector expansion, support entrepreneurship, and create sustainable employment for the youth. Collins, mid-year budget review and
I mean, these are constitutional matters. The minister is enjoined by the constitution to come to Parliament half year. I think the Public Financial Management Act also enjoins him to come half year to give us basically an update of how things have panned out between first half of the year.
Right.
And because budgets are read in November, you normally will not get the full year outturns whilst presenting the budget. So the mid-year is also an opportunity for the minister to give us the full, accurate, full year data on 2025. And then if there are any significant changes that have occurred within the first 6 months that has thrown his targets and his estimates off gear, it's an opportunity for him to also realign those issues. So basically that's what mid-year reviews are. Also to give us an update on major government policy initiatives and how far he's gone with them. You read Gideon Boakon's connection between the macro and the micro, and that the macro figures should at least translate to the micro level, which is something we all agree to. I don't think anybody is so excited just that inflation has come down when you go to the market and you are not having the effect of that. So there should be translation on the ground. You know, I always use my constituency as an example. I have 65,000 people, approximately. 60% of them are farmers. 40% of the 60% are cocoa farmers. So my constituency really, the economy there is a farming economy. And so anytime budget is read, I go straight to areas that may affect my constituents and how far government has implemented its policies to the benefit of my constituency. I know other constituencies have different dynamics in those areas. And so you can imagine in my constituency with the cocoa issues, it's really, really having an effect on my constituency. As of now, last week, I met some of the cocoa farmers who approached me and said, some people have received payment in response to the last release that was released by the cocoa board. Others too have not. So you can imagine the whole year, another year has begun, half year, he's not received any money from the cocoa that he sold to BDC. That is their economy. That is our economy. And so such a person, the flowery and beautiful macroeconomic indicators may mean nothing to him or her at that particular level. especially when the practice in the constituency is that they borrow against in anticipation of an increment in the prices of cocoa. And that's what they normally do. So by February, they go to the banks and use the current rates, which was at the time 3,300 or 3,500 to borrow.
Yeah.
In anticipation that by October, November, when the season starts, and normally the season starts with an increment in prices. And so for the person to be hit with a reduction rather to 2,500, which is a net loss of about 1,000 per bag, that is the economy in my constituency. The transport guys are threatening to increase transport fares. That is directly affecting my constituents because the farmers, they normally cut their products using some vehicles and all that. So that is their economy. But I must say that some positive things came out when he read the media. First of all, I was excited when he acknowledged the efforts of previous governments. I'm excited because I see a change, a gradual change in our politicking, where it is not always combative, but an admission of efforts made by previous governments and how far it has impacted current policies. And that for me was a very, very beautiful diversion from the norm that we know about. Yesterday, we concluded the debate on the IPP renegotiations.
Right.
And if you look at the reports, there was an acknowledgement of how the renegotiation started from previous governments and how it has continued to the benefit of the general public. And now we are making savings of about $250 million. That, for me, is a refreshing style of politics that we are having in this country. Of course, if you look at the media review, statutory payment, Kwesi, there's been a significant improvement in statutory payment. That, for me, is a very good highlight. That as an opposition person, I should not always be opposing, but it's also good for me to acknowledge some of the good things that have been done.
Right.
I've seen that common fund payment has been okay. I've seen NHIA payment also has been quite consistent, which is good. And I think I have to commend them for that. But unemployment has been a big issue. All the major flagship programs that the government touted in the 2025 budget, that in their view was to tackle unemployment, we're hoping that by 2026, half year 2026, we should be receiving some concrete figures as to how those policies have translated to job employment. So the Ejumera program, the entrepreneurship program, the coders program, the oil plantation program, the Nkukongwe program, and all those programs, 24-hour economy. We're hoping that this mid-year review will give us some concrete figures. Unfortunately, the reports we are getting, even from the Statistical Service, and you just read it this morning, point to the fact that those policies are yet to translate into job creation for the youth. I'm not too sure how many coders have been trained as of now. Not too sure how many people have benefited from the Jumera program. I listened to the chief executive, Mr. Eric J, my very good friend, who indicated that he had received on Nasempa, he had received so far half year 20 million Ghana cedi, which is about less than 1/3 of what is supposed to be given to him for him to really work out that Jumera program, which in effect was to help reduce the unemployment figures. That we are also not seeing that connection. And I'm sure government is listening to the debates. A lot have been centered on job creation. And the fact that we didn't hear more of that in the media review. I hope that government is listening. And subsequent budget in November, they will take into account all the comments that have come up and then help us to create more jobs for the people. On energy side, I think two significant things were mentioned.
Right.
One is the GPP2, which is the new gas processing plant, and the 1,200 megawatts power plant to be established.
Right.
The difficulty I have with that is that I know Kwesi is not too excited about private participation. Government has set up an SPV, which we opposed. We believe very strongly that VRA and Co should be able to handle these transactions. But government has set up an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, created a company to spearhead both major transactions. That's the 1,200 megawatts and the GVP2, which is the gas processing plant 2. I have issues with that. I feel that we have very competent state agencies who have demonstrated over the time to have done this before. VRA is handling bigger power plants, and I'm sure they should be able to do this. But unfortunately, I see that they've been sidestepped in this whole process. Parliament on its own has also not been briefed properly, even on the energy committee that I serve on. The only report we've seen in the media review is an indication that they've been able to identify the area that they intend to put the 1,200. That for me is not enough information for us to chew on. And so, by and large, these are the issues that I took away from the media review, and I'm just hoping that the policies will translate to the ordinary Ghanaian. I'm sure you've done some interviews in the market. I saw TV3's interview in the market where almost all the comments were negative. People think business have slowed down in spite of all the beautiful macroeconomic indicators. That is where I think government must work on, so that we can have positive macro figures and also positive micro figures.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.